Welcome everybody, here's your Strategy Wolf. Welcome back to Victoria 3, welcome back to our Serbian Empire under the reign of Milan Karađorđević here in our Serbian Empire. A little bit premature maybe, but slowly and more with our extension here to Macedonia establishing itself. Yeah, welcome back in the new century again, and yeah, we're following our path. We tried to expand it actually a bit, went into Macedonia, and yeah, due to the wishes in the comments, I also made up an interest at least in Libya. Let's see if we're expanding into over there. The main idea, of course, is still taking Austrian lands over time, since yeah, Austria has been quite an aggressive nation over here and is occupying our southern Slavic homeland. So yeah, but problem, as you guys know, if you're following this one closely, they're still allied with the Russians. So yeah, let's see how we're going in there. Apart from this, as always, little disclaimer to the start. If you're new here, I'm the Strategy Wolf, doing different games, mostly with historical background. Since I'm going to be an historian, hopefully not too far in the future, I always try to do a little bit of a more, let's say, roleplay approach and not too much focusing on min-maxing or optimizing. So if you like this kind of playstyle and just don't want to see matte painting, then you're in the right position here. And since you guys also know, maybe if you're not here for the first time or you just like you've seen other Let's Plays already from me, I had to abort already prior Victoria Let's Plays due to new DLCs and patches that changed the game fundamentally, and I'm pretty sure this will be the case again in a month when the next patch 1.9 is changing several things on world market and so forth, diplomacy. So this will definitely not be comfortable, especially with the mods we're using. So I guess this is going to be the end of our timeline. I'll try to, yeah, I told you that since I'm just rotating 2 games at the moment, but I wanted to have at least 3. I said I wanted to bring Pentiment in maybe, but I think I refrain from this until for the next month, so we can just power as far here with Serbia, and then for the new Let's Play we shall see what happens next. You can always let me know down in comments what you think, what you want to see, so just let me know and we get there. Alright guys, so far about that, let's get in and just keep on going and see what is down to do. Market access here in Macedonia. I think we don't have, yeah, we're building a railway over there. Apart from this, yeah, we have gone down a bit with our income again. However, we're still running low taxes. We could go, of course, we could cure the situation by going to medium taxes. At the same time, we're still having basically full employment in all of our provinces, right? Yeah, Albania and Macedonia not fully. So yeah, maybe we're just pausing our constructions in the future for a bit to save up some money. Yeah, as you see, we're just building mainly now in Greece a bit. Yeah, investments, and it has the background of putting ourselves closer to each other because we wanted to get Greece into the Balkan bloc. 2.0, and also I wanted to annex Bulgaria at some point. I could actually, but at the same time I would love to wait until they accept maybe. Willingness to be annexed, I'm not sure how to get this. Yeah, it would be nice if we don't have to fight it and get some more destruction in the lands. That would be sad, but let's see, we have a close eye on it. We don't have to do it immediately since we can invest anyways. Circular bearing. Navigation staff have reported a severe misalignment of the sextant aboard Admiral Karađorđević's flagship. The culprit had been flogged and fellow captains chastised for not reporting their deviation from planning bearings. This has done little to salvage the fleet's progress. The sextant is... Oh, now I'm a little bit embarrassed. Don't know too much about the technological history of the sextant. In the beginning of the 20th century, is this still a necessary tool for navigation on the waterways? Let me know. What sextant is for using the stars, I guess, right? And then getting orientation in combination with a compass. Oh, I've learned about this in another course about the American colonization of Spain before, but kind of forgot, to be honest. The Spanish colonization of America, not the American colonization of Spain. Did I just say that? Yeah, we all know what we're talking about. Columbus and stuff. Sextant. Yeah, what did it make? What has changed the world in the 19th century for? I mean, steamships, obviously. You don't have to follow exact routes of the waterways and winds, I guess, and maybe you can just use the compass to go straight with a steamship. Let me know if you're an experienced sailor or naval enthusiast. Yeah. And maybe what I'm going to do is... If we have electricity problems, let's prioritize this quickly. And build some oil rigs after just I don't want to build them all at once, so maybe they can start employing people slowly over time. Tirana here. I've talked about it before that here, in my opinion, Albania has been displayed too well as a province in Victoria. But okay. Investment banks unlocked. Towering financial institutions catering the needs of corporate finance. Investment banks primarily assist in the raising of capital for private enterprise. We can found a new company. Since companies have been a massive flop for us right now as a small country. What I definitely want to do is here this, and I think just oil producers. Nah, this doesn't make sense. It just doesn't fit us. So what I'm going to do is definitely go, and since this seems to be the only actually historic company we have here in our options, we're gonna go for Jastava Orucje. Sorry for the misspelling of pronunciation. As always, what do we need to do for here? We have to have arms levels equal or greater or equal than 3. I think it would be smart to have this in Belgrade, I guess. Do we have arms industries here? We just have them on 2. We should, however, we have to nationalize both of them. We cannot. Why can't they not be nationalized? I'm a little confused right now. Anyhow, we need another one minimum. I guess because they have the 2 Sicilies do have a trade agreement with us, right? So I can't nationalize them. Okay. Yeah, we're not gonna cancel the trade. In worst case, we just build another one. I think they have to be both. Or let's have a quick look if we have another arms industry in... Okay, we're gonna go for southern Serbia in this case. Damn, whatever. I'm not gonna build another one. That's just... Oh. In this case, we're just founding it here. It's better. Before we have to build 2 more. I know we're like they're basically not employed. I'm gonna subsidize them a bit so they also don't go bankrupt immediately. Let's sell some guns then. Okay, thank you, Spain. This just happened immediately when we started to sell arms to Spain. They immediately embargoed us. Okay. No, well then we're not selling to you guys. And let's maybe quit some of these things a bit. Novalukian Motors. Communist revolt in Sweden. Okay, interesting. I mean, communist revolts seem to be quite on vogue these days. This Russian Empire, oh my god. Persia, Scandinavia, entirely Denmark, up here to Greenland. Well, it's what the Russians probably have dreamed of. Japan hasn't done anything, by the way, right? It's still a shogunate. Oh. I rarely see Japan really making it to the transformation into the normal Japan. That's really sad to see. I don't know why. Yeah, it just happens. AR has probably doing the same with the German. Yeah, well, this is even a greater shame, I guess. Maybe just from the German perspective, but a little bit worried over here. But as I said, we can always pause at some point. Let's finish up this. I wanted to, of course, take these guys up so we can found them a little bit early on. I just checked my bureaucracy. We actually have some freedom over here. We should increase something over here. I would like to have... We need more pops in here, so let's lower our mortality. That's for sure not a bad idea. Education. Maybe you can also go for workplace safety office. Let's see. And also, of course, we do want to change here away from our religious system. However, I would not like to go to private health insurance. I think you need to have above 20 in standard of living on average, so it's better than the public one. I mean, in the end, it's also better than the religious ones. Private schools. Or private health insurance. Yeah, but I would rather really like to switch directly to the public ones, to be honest. I didn't notice, by the way, that we had this situation over here. Or probably I talked about it with the last election, but yeah. Great Molasses Flood, we know this one. Montenegro for the... Montenegro has so little people they can suffer in the molasses. Circular bearings, we had this event before. Seems to be... Yeah, this situation seems to fail a bit over here. And stop maybe with improving with Poland since we were in the negative. Oh. And somehow, I don't know, it can't be this one. The Balkan bloc has been disbanded. Alright. Well, the rivalry is being broken. How did this happen? Probably it's just like some event where we had some prestige that made us drop too low. Now we're 14. Oh man. Yeah, I guess the block or the... We invested quite a lot. Now the Greek investments is kind of... Yeah, it's still worth it, of course, if they work over there, but not so necessary anymore. Petrovic, Costa Petrovic, what are you in moderate? I can say what he wants. Yeah, well, what are we gonna do with our... What? Ah, the rivalry has broken. Okay, this is why we're dropping again. Yeah, back in this circle of weirdness. You know it already. Well, Baden has always been our long-term rival. Chile, of course. Federation of the Rhine. No, they are actually... They don't want to rival them. More than South Australia, sure. Tasmania, okay. What happened in Australia? I've never seen a Australian Protestant, okay. So Australian culture has developed? I think I'm not sure they don't necessarily start as Australians, right? We have a communist revolt in the West. What? Against Western Australia, okay, seems like okay. Well, it is what it is. Oh, Russia marching into Qing, that's interesting. Okay, interesting, they haven't done anything about all these... Okay. They haven't done any expansion because of China, interesting. While China has been quite strong anyways, there's no Hong Kong. What a weird timeline we're having. Yeah, what are we going to do with all these... extra... No. Futa Toro. How did you get an obligation from these guys? Let's stop our inactive trade routes. Yeah, what are we gonna do? Ooh. First windstorm to the Adriatic off. We have. Okay. Austria wants a Western Thrace. They want a treaty port here. This is going to be interesting. I'm pretty sure that Russia is not going against them, but this might be an option to go against Austria, but only if other people join in. Minor scandal has buzzed around. Piece of reformist fiction by Zoran Milutunovic began to circle one more. And let's read. The plague of superstition and dogma was the end of Serbia? If it is so, why are the trades still running? How could they possibly have acquired the coal to fuel it? Your prosperity to butcher your characters for cheap tragedies, nothing short of shameful. And to make matters worse, why would Victor ever not pursue Astrid's affections when they have known each other for so long? Do you have no eye for redeeming romance? Okay, I'm a little bit confused by this tale, but... Guess, yeah, Liberate Party. No reason to harass them. I don't want, yeah, with all these communist revolutions, I don't want the trade unions too strong right now. Treaty port in the Balkans. Holy moly. Is there anybody? What about the Brits? Absolutely not interested. Russia, Germany, nobody. It's like the absence of great power interference, I feel like, is a little bit odd. Reactionaries in Scandinavia in constant uprise. Okay, South Australia. North German Federation sides with the Ottoman Empire. Oh la la. For humiliation. I mean, how many can they field? 690 versus... Oh, Austria is so strong. 400 with the Germans only, so they're actually... We would be still... I mean, not like as the... Yeah, I would even consider joining them, but we have too low... Yeah, I tried to improve the relations, guys, but then the Ottomans attacked me. Oh. Yeah, you know, sometimes the AI behavior is problematic, since... Yeah, we tried so often, and then they came for weird stuff they couldn't win, as you remember correctly. So we had to go against the Ottomans, and now they don't like to have our aid. I think this is something of too much of a restraint anyway, since as you see, especially on the Balkans, when you see the Balkan wars, you see former allies turning on each other quickly. I'm not a failed expedition. Yeah. I'm not an expert on the Balkan wars, but definitely there were. I think in this with the speed that it happened, with the Victoria 3 mechanics, it wouldn't be possible to really join. So I'm really looking forward to the diplomatic overhaul actually of the game a bit, since there is stuff to be done. We don't want the, we just said we don't want the liberals to be too strong. We're going a different way right now. Oh man, that's really sad. This looks like an option where I really could have intervened. Now the Germans are getting butchered and probably... Yeah, but at least the Austrians are actually... Oh, I was totally wrong. The Austrians want to humiliate the Germans, while the Germans don't even want anything. We're fighting over a regime Western port and trace. Come on, guys. Well, with a little bit of luck, this... Thank you, my loves. Isn't this just a nice thing? And then let's go and have a trade agreement with the Brits, I guess. Yeah, come on, let's do that. If we can align ourselves so closely already, let's do that. Which this will not take us further away from Russia. Let's see how this turns out. The war is going to start now. I mean, best case we see somehow, which I strongly doubt, somehow it's over, like Austria going too deep into debt by financing all these troops, or like some... Okay. The good old day. When invited to give a speech on behalf of Conservative Party, Dragutin Sokolovic has begun extolling the virtues of a strong home, strong borders, and strong men. Public reception was mixed. Do we want to strengthen the Conservatives right now? Neither really, right? I think the free trade is actually okay, right? So, rhetoric cannot disguise what Sokolovic wants. That's a good idea. So there's the elections. What can we do about them? Yeah, we have now the Free Trade Party can rule basically alone. Yeah, of course the Free Trade Party doesn't want to do any steps away from or towards public social systems. Yeah, but some things need to be done to old age pensions. I think there's nothing really too important I want to do right now. multiculturalism is not that important for me either. Well, let's actually can keep it for the moment like this. Any news on the annexation progress I could make in... I mean, we could, obviously, now we could go actually for the... What we wanted to do is... or did we lose our interest again with the... diplomatic actions? Wait, declare interest, sorry guys. Yeah, probably we lost our interest in North Africa, super. Yeah, but this is actually a sign for me, because these are the areas I definitely should be interested in Europe in, and if I don't want to switch it, toss it quickly around to get an access on Libya. I find this too odd, and then we have to respect also the mechanics of the game to some extent, and it's interesting, the Turkish-German alliance here. Shrapnel, Lancer, Skirmish. But they're still fighting. Oh, we saw this before, the Austrians are fighting with line infantry. I mean... White always means they would join, right? Is there... I mean, they're fighting so many wars, I thought there might be some chance that Russia might not be coming. But... You know, the Germans are not getting anything, so therefore the white piece is pretty easy for Austria to get. And... the entire assumption here would be that we might be so fast occupying areas and that Austrian armies and line infanterists would be so hurt. It's all line infantry. That's really crazy. We do have trench infantry, right? But we only have 30 regiments with reserves. Yeah, okay, 150 if you go all in. Whereas this 900. Can we win this with trench infantry? No, but yeah, I guess we definitely cannot if this one. Oh no, it is just so frustrating. Can we see maybe the fights happening over here with the Russian infantry? No. Yeah, we cannot deal with the Russian Empire. Let me know in the comments if you have a clear expectation on the tech difference here. I mean, normally tech, yeah, trench infantry moves through line infantry easily. But still, yeah, the numbers here make a huge difference. As we see, it makes a difference, since the Germans and Ottomans definitely... Even the Ottomans have... Whatever units do the Ottomans use? How come they have only artillery here? What the hell? How come Austria is so bad? That's crazy. I mean, I noticed this before. It's really just goddamn Russia standing in the way of ourselves. Maybe I should... Yeah, somebody has already announced this, told me in the comments that might be an option, maybe. Yeah, now we're also going into that. This is so annoying. Okay, we're not gonna build after this for a bit, and then with this we should save up tons of money. And then we're gonna build up some reserves. Yeah, the question still remains. What I just said, somebody announced or asked me in the comments if I could potentially do some editing maybe. What is Britain fighting Spain over actually? El Salvador. See. El Salvador is British? Okay. And they want... What? If Britain is taking Andalusia? Okay. Oh yeah, this world is taking weird turns. I mean, still, sorry for not finishing the thought line. The next reactionary revolt in the Russian Scandinavia. Maybe I should edit somehow that they go in and manually dissolve the alliance in between Austria and Russia. I mean, this would be, of course, in some way cheating. At the same time, it allows some formal action here in this game, and yeah, with this current status, whoa, this is, by the way, what Russia took here out of China, kind of massive. Shungaria here seems, I'm not sure if this is a traditional Russian thing. Same here with Tarim Basin. I think the rest here is logical, but these ones were over the claims. Okay, wow. Empty pockets. That's not so good. Bulgarian national movement is not a thing. Yeah, but with Russia fighting all these wars and revolts all over the place. Anti-Ottoman society embargo versus them. I feel like I have to do this. Yeah, even if we have trade routes with them. And we just try to improve our situation, but just a +5 is extremely nice to us here and should help us a lot internally. Yeah, now with the intelligentsia, the orthodoxy and the industrialists, that's really great actually, so I had to do this. And then we're gonna keep the embargo also for a bit, since, you know, I don't want to just abuse mechanics, as I mentioned before. Here they're taking really Andalusia. Well, yeah, what I'm saying is still, like, we could do this. Of course, it would feel like cheating. However, like, if the AI just remains like this and numbly keeps up this alliance, what they're not really also not using for anything, I kind of feel like in Munich, okay, seems like we're gonna see a Rhenish Munich communist situation, a Rhenish Dutch. Let's not forget that Bavaria and basically the Netherlands joined up. Let me know down in the comments what you think, if you would agree to something like this. And by the way, we wanted to also, we've totally forgot about company. Any state, building levels greater or incorporated. Any Serb state, yeah, it should be. Don't we have the arms industry here now? Oh yeah, I guess I gotta nationalize here. Let's do this quickly. And now we should be hopefully able to know. The Albanian Food Syndicate is also a good one. More birth rate. I think I'm gonna stop these Serb grains, definitely. Just to also get the birth rate here for the Albanian Food Syndicate. However, I would still like to establish these guys. Arms industry greater or equal 3. Why not? Arms industries. I mean, it said Northern Serbia, but when it says any state, normally I find this is a signal for... Any Serb state is Northern Serbia. I mean, maybe it has to be really for real in there. Oh, let's do it. Worst case, then we don't have to necessarily subsidize over here, maybe. Even though it seems to be quite... It doesn't also hurt us to have a reserve in arms production in case we want to mobilize all our reserves. Yes, we want more assimilation for sure. And it's Serbian we're speaking in school. Wow, I mean, this is kind of crazy. In the end, we see like Austria being humiliated, but in the end they don't have to suffer anything because the Germans came in for free to prevent them from taking a treaty port over here. Wow, but we still won't see German unification. At the same time, we're going back to bankruptcy. Yeah, I haven't seen this in a while. Yeah, but of course we have our fans over here. Well, let's see. Just as I said, we're finishing up these buildings in other countries, and then we shall see when they're probably not paying. Wow, 10,000 interest. That's crazy. How bad of an interest rate do we have? 12%. Yeah, that's really bad. Yeah, I should maybe. We're gonna pause a bit after this oil rig. New Patriarch in Moscow, okay. Ooh, so quickly going down. Textile mills throughput, also not a bad idea. Probably have more of them than steel mills, but anyways, we're not getting them up for full productivity, that's the problem. Do we have... Let's have a quick look on our food industries. Maybe we should subsidize them. I mean, it's just in inland where I don't have too many in Serbia itself. Birth rate would be... Oh, well, I can sell someone to the Russians too. Into the Brits. We haven't really utilized our British trade union yet. Yeah, but as I said, we're gonna pause to hopefully cure our financial situation. Worst case, we can always raise taxes, don't you? Yeah, okay, Maldives. Interesting. Yeah, guys, we entered a new year, 1903, 2 years again. I think this is my new rhythm, more or less. It always turned out to be half an hour. So, good time to end this very episode. Okay, Britain generously took Eastern Andalusia and humiliated Spain in their face. Sick developments. Austria is getting humiliated on the battlefield, but the political implications seem to be very small. Russia still stands strongly on the side of Austria. Yeah, we have a couple of things to talk about. Let me know in the comments if you're fine with the idea of manually solving the alliance of Austria and Russia to maybe speed up the process or to give us some more fun in the end game. Or do you consider this as cheating? I'm not sure about it yet. Fully convinced, let me know your opinion. And of course, anything else that's on your mind. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't yet, it would be fantastic if you leave me a like and subscription. But from this, let's enjoy the rest of this campaign. 33 years to go to the end of this playthrough. Then, I don't know if we can finish really the entirety of the campaign. Don't forget the new patches incoming. Also, you can let me know down in the comments which countries or new tags you want to see in the upcoming patch 1.9 in June or July when we start probably a new Victoria. I will definitely start a new Victoria campaign here. I'm sure about it. It's kind of the carrier of the channel at the moment, so don't you worry. Yeah, let me know which country you would like to see, which approach, and also down to general new roleplay or certain targets, or not just map painting, as you know. So let me know what you would. We can also do map painting, of course, but for example, I won't be doing, let's take Ethiopia and conquer the world or something like this. But yeah, I'm always happy and thankful for nice suggestions and ideas to enhance the experience we're having. So thank you for that, and then most importantly, see you next time in the next episode when we continue with our Balkan domination for the moment. Thanks for watching. Bye. Your Strategy Wolf.